What's good, YouTube? GamerZero is back, and I'm actually back this time. We're gonna go ahead and actually do this because I had to go and cook dinner. I'm gonna be honest. I had to go and cook dinner, and I didn't want it to get too late, to eat. So, yeah, I had to go cook and clean the dishes and shit. Got to cook for the fam bam, and for myself. Or else your boy go be over here starving, and I ain't trying to do that. So, if you're wondering what I had fried chicken. I made some fried chicken, made some mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, gravy, and some salad. So that's what I had with some sodas. Yeah, it was great. And yeah, I feel good right now. Feeling full, feeling nice, feeling fine. Um, I'll probably, if you all want, I could post a picture in my community tab of what I ate, but y'all gonna have to let me know if y'all want to see that. All right, so let's go ahead and load the game. Yes, I hope this is the one. You arrive at the eponymously named Repulse Bay, a gleaming hotel and apartment building on the shores of Repulse Bay, Hong Kong Island. Rolling storm clouds choke the sky, lending the structure a sinister appearance. As you push through the doors and into the building, a sudden break in the clouds reveals a sun that's gone red as blood. You make your way into a ground floor elevator. The attendant pays you no mind. As the car begins to climb, you hear the sounds of merriment drawing closer. As the doors slide open, you find Neville Ma's party in full swing. Let me go ahead and put my phone on vibrate so you don't hit those sound effects. Okay. The elevator disgorges you onto the mezzanine with little fanfare. Off in the distance, you can hear the sounds of clinking glasses, carefree laughter, and silverware on china. I'm kind of out of my element here, Zero. I'm not much of a party person. How do you want to handle this? Check the apartment first. My vote is party. Can we go to the party? Let's get let's get to that party and see if we can dig anything up. If you think you can get us in, lead the way. She rubs her hands together excitedly. The catering at these things is always top notch. We're talking caviar, Zero, booze with gold flecks in it. I think that I might smell pheasant. He shakes his head at Gobbet. I don't understand how you can be hungry. I just watched you power down a dozen dumplings and a pitcher of oxtail soup. Oh, I'm not hungry. Don't think I could eat another bite, but I do have a messenger bag and about 20 empty pockets. She pats the bag at her side. Come on, Zero. Let's go mingle. All right. We're good to go. Let's get it. A sullen looking troll stands on the periphery of the kitchen. He turns to you, shoulders slumped forward, and sighs. No restaurant service tonight. The kitchen staff's too busy with the party to serve anyone. Wish I could get onto that balcony. He sniffs the air wistfully. All that delicious food. See, this guy knows what's up. Looks fancy. Who's throwing this shindig? A trend producer, I think. Saw some actors out there earlier. Same ones who act in Promises in Moonlight. He fiddles shyly. Have you seen the show? I'm afraid not. His eyes widen excitedly. You need to see it. It's the best show on Trinio ever. He leans in, face inches from yours. Ever. Oh, I'll get right on that. Good luck with the kitchen, buddy. So let's go ahead and have Isobel hack to get our invitation. This access port terminal has an open cyberdeck port. Isobel, do you think? She my little mini. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Okay. You already know that I'll be over dramatizing this shit. All right. Hey. Okay, so it's gotta be this one then. Nope, I fucked up. Okay, W. It's not this one. Is it this one? Nah, it is this one. No, come on, bro. WM. Okay, Jesus Christ. Jesus. Alright, we got it. Welcome to the Repulse Bay Central Data Hub. Please state query. Search for information on Neville Ma. Ma Neville, resident, penthouse apartment number 2. Expand query. Apartment door code 1635. Search other records. Planned hotel expansion. Accessing expansion plans. You download a series of files detailing expansion plans to the hotel's ground floor. These might be valuable to local construction firms. Search for information on Neville Ma. Nah, where other records, events. One event found, Yellow Springs Films, private party, mezzanine level, front desk indicates 6 unclaimed invitations. Download invitation, yes or no. Download. Search other records, maintenance logs. Reams of data flood the screen. Everything's organized by way of reference numbers. It's an incredibly obtuse and confusing system. Without knowing what number to search for, there's little of value to see here. Okay. So yeah, alright, let's try to get up out of here. Oh, baby. Oh, we did it. Oh, we did it. Good shit, Isobel. We did it. We did it. What, we did it. Alright. Today's special, Buddha's Delights. The security guard stands in front of the patio, a bored expression on his face. He looks you up and down as you approach. Private party, pal. Invitation only. Here you go. He takes the invitation and scrutinizes it. He then looks at you, reluctance plain on his face. Enjoy the party, sir. The partygoer raises an eyebrow at your approach. They're serving century-old Cabernet-like punch here. It's hard to believe, considering how much a single bottle costs. But it's even harder to believe Mr. Ma's hosting this party, and so soon after his accident. I heard about that. Doesn't seem to have slowed him down. The man's a machine, he smirks, amused by himself. Not literally. But he might as well be the way he sprang back after being T-boned at 140 clicks an hour. That's quite a feat. How'd he survive? I don't know how, but here he is, alive and kicking, or dining, regaling, what have you. If you ask me, it's all that positive key the fans have stirred up. I heard there were entire message boards praying for him and making offerings at temples. The Matrix is nuts for promises in Moonlight. If Ma had negotiated a second season, his fans would just as easily have turned on him. If that's all it takes to win immortality, maybe I should become famous too. Isn't that why we're all here? To be famous, become famous, or make someone else famous? He catches sight of someone across the room and waves. Lisa, over here! Gives you a curt nod. Nice talking to you. Sorry, I had to burp. The glamorous starlet flashes you a standard celebrity smile. Lovely, but emotionless. Good evening, Penelope Wong, but please, call me Penny. Fantastic party, Penny. Please, extend my thanks to Mr. Ma. I'm Mr. Argyle. He'll be delighted to hear it. Our Neville takes any chance he can to get to show how well Yellow Spring Studios is doing. Do you know him well? Not directly, but I'm in the film industry. Twos. Just not in Hong Kong. I mostly came to see how he's recovering. A smile lights up on her face. Oh, it was absolutely miraculous. I must admit, I nearly died of fright when I heard what happened. But to look at Neville now, you'd never guess he'd been hurt. Just miraculous. Miracles cost a lot of New Yen these days. It must have been some expensive treatment. You think so? She sips her drink. I've never stayed in a hospital myself. Don't believe the paparazzi. Either my nose... Don't believe the paparazzi either. My nose has never seen the knife. Is it very expensive to undergo such miraculous treatments, that is? Let me put it this way. Even Neville, with all his money, would be hard-pressed to cover the costs. He probably brought a new guy in to cushion the bills. Someone new? For a moment, she's lost in thought, face twisted in concentration. No, I don't think so, but Neville did make some new friends while he was in Guangzhou. Go on. Excuse me. There was a woman, I can't remember her name, who now visits Neville regularly. I hear she's quite the fashionista. This a business or personal relationship? Penelope shrugs. They seem to get on well. I'm a little sad he's never introduced us, though. She's supposed to make an appearance tonight. I'm very much looking forward to meeting her. Penelope's gaze drifts over your shoulder for a moment, and she smiles at someone behind you. Oh, excuse me, that's Mr. Yao, and I promised him I'd say hello tonight. Enjoy the party. Thank you, Penny. It was a pleasure. Neville Ma is dressed in an immaculate suit, surveying his party from the edge of the balcony. As you approach, he inclines his head respectfully. Good evening, Mr. I'm sorry, I don't believe we've been formally introduced. He straightens his wristwatch. I'm Neville Ma, owner of Yellow Spring Studios. The pleasure's all mine, Mr. Ma. Call me Mr. Argent. Thanks so much for hosting this gala. You're very welcome. It's important to show the industry and the press that Promises in Moonlight is doing well, and that we're still a local operation. I hope that you're enjoying yourself. I've heard what happened about your accident. How did it happen? He sighs. It seems as though that's all anyone wants to hear about these days. To be honest, I'm getting rather tired of repeating the story. Suffice it to say, a delivery truck, a drone, experienced a glitch, and ran a red light. If it hadn't hit me, it would have hit someone else. Sounds like someone's got it in for you. You know anyone who could have set this up? Not really. Apparently the latest software update to the truck had gotten corrupted, but that was all they found. It was shocking to discover that the delivery company missed the glitch, but I suppose that it's a mistake anyone could have made, and certainly not enough to point to any one person. You were discharged from the hospital pretty quickly after your accident. Your treatments must have been expensive. Not especially. Guangzhou's hospitals are top tier. Confidentially, my rapid recovery mostly came down to luck. The accident could have been a lot worse than it was. I owe Eurocar a lot of thanks for their safety features. I heard you made new friends while you were in the hospital. Yes, Miss Fang. She's quite an admirer of promises and moonlight. She kept my spirits up as I was recovering from the accident. Sounds like you might just be more. Sounds like you might be more than just friends. You're welcome to believe whatever you like. A gentleman doesn't kiss and tell, however, and you would do well not to repeat such rumors. I prefer to keep my private life out of the spotlight. I apologize. I didn't mean to offend. I accept. Of course. You seem to be someone of quality. I wouldn't insult you by assuming you'd speak out of turn. Thanks for talking with me, Mr. Ma. My pleasure. Please, enjoy the party. The ragged waiter manages to straighten up as you approach. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the veranda at the Repulse Bay. How may I be of service? What's with the guard by the balcony? There's a private party outside, and our establishment provides security for any event that requires it. But don't worry, the balcony will be free again in a few hours. I've got some questions about Neville Ba. Heard of him? His expression clouds. Certainly. Everyone knows Mr. Ma. Yeah, what kind of guy is he? Between you and me, he's difficult. Which is putting it lightly. Man runs the staff ragged. He jerks his thumb in the direction of the veranda. That's his party out there. Richies like him love to display their wealth. Sounds like you have some stories. He lowers his voice. Like you wouldn't believe. He once made a handful of us walk all the way out to Shek O to fetch dumplings for his guest. It was pouring out, with winds blowing around 50 kilometers per hour. Practically a death march in that weather. Why didn't the kitchen here make Ma some dumplings? Ma said the kitchen's dumplings weren't good enough. Called them peasant food in front of all his guests. Chef Kang was furious, of course, but since Ma's rich, hotel management told us to give him whatever he wanted. By the time we got back from Shek O, the dumplings were cold, the party was over, and Ma had retired to his suite with a pair of starlets. We had to pay for those dumplings out of our own damn pockets. A couple days later, Kevin came down with pneumonia from the trip, lost his job over it. And that's just one of our experiences with him. Needless to say, no one here's a fan of the man, but we're paid to serve the tenants here, so that's what we do. He shrugs. It's a living. You look exhausted. Why don't you take a break? Not yet. I can't afford to miss any tips, he sighs. I went to Macau last week and it wiped me out. Bad luck with the horses, you know. That's a shame. Hope your night improves. Well, it can only get better from here. Alright, let's go up to old boy's apartment and we're gonna go and check out what he's got inside. The elevator dings softly and a bright, sophisticated elevator panel awaits your inputs. Excuse me. This is a standard hotel door protected by a simple hydraulic locking mechanism. A keypad is mounted beside the door frame. So we do know the code. It's 1635. The door unlocks. So let's see what we got up in here. Rows and rows of finely tailored suits, custom shoes, and various accessories fill this room. I can see my breath. Fucking gobbit. The fridge is well stocked. There's enough food in here to feed a big party. The liquor cabinet is full of expensive wines and spirits. Several decanters sit atop it, but one in particular catches your eye, a bottle of brilliantly bright red wine. Nah, we're good. We're good on red wine. The opposite side of the living room is dominated by a massive security door. It's much heavier than the exterior apartment door and looks like a recent addition. The wall has clearly been reinforced to support it. A series of top of the line commercial grade maglocks hold the doors sealed. It'd be easier to tunnel through the wall than it would be to break them open. A cursory glance at the door frame reveals no sign of a keypad or a jack point, but you do see what appears to be an RFID reader. A 16-digit number has been stenciled onto the side of the reader in red ink. This didn't come with the apartment. Why fortify an interior door like this? Probably to keep up appearances. Can you imagine how many people would talk if he'd installed this thing in the hallway? Well, one thing is certain. We aren't getting through here without a key. Most likely, that means that we will have to get one from Ma or from one of his people. Aw, shucks. I guess we'll just have to go back to the party. I mean, that is the next logical step. Tell me we're going to the party. To hell with the party. Someone on the building staff must have a key. Let's check with them. Yeah, I'm sorry, Gobbit. I know you're social squirt, but we're gonna go and check with the staff. Good evening, sir. Welcome to the veranda. Oh, it's you again. What do you need this time? There's a heavy security door in Neville Moss' apartment. Know anything about that? The waiter opens his mouth to reply, then pauses. Just how do you know about that? When were you in Ma's apartment? A few days ago. I left something in there and I need to get it back. We don't want to cause a scene. I mean, we could go bother Ma during his party, but that would look just as bad for you as it would for us. He lowers his voice. Tell you what, try talking to Chef Gang in the kitchen. He's got keys to just about every door in the place. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that. I am back now. So let me read from the beginning. He lowers his voice. Tell you what, try talking to Chef Kang in the kitchen. He's got keys to just about every door in the place. On VIP request, he's expected to personally deliver their meal. It's a status thing. Compliments to the chef or whatever. Poor guy spends as much time delivering food as he does cooking it. Worth a try. Thanks. No problem. Just, don't mention I sent you, alright? Chef's a visual man, so I don't want to get on his bad side. Alright, sir. Enjoy your day. The chef looks up from his pot of boiling water, red-faced and sweating. A name tag is pinned to his lapel. Chef Kang. Chef Victor Kang. Thought I told you to send in the waiter. Who the hell are you? I'm gonna be straight. I need to get past Neville Moss' security door. Yeah, I could do that. And I could also lose my job for it. Even go to jail. Sounds like a real winner of a proposition to me. He strains a vat of boiled fish through a sieve. Got work to do, stranger. Doors that away. Excuse me. Whew. Oh. Just wanted to say that Ma's an idiot for hating on your dumplings. His expression hardens. Yeah. Cost me a raise and a whole lot of face. I'll bet that bastard didn't lose a wink of sleep over it either. With a single motion, the head lops off a fish's head. Give me your key fob, and I'll make sure he loses sleep tonight. Yeah, gladly. He grabs a plastic tab from his apron pocket and tosses it to you. Ruin him, will you? Or at very least, ruin his day. I'll consider it a bonus if you wreck his anemic girlfriend and giddy starlit days, too. Girlfriend? What girlfriend? What's her name? He snaps his fingers irritably. Ku Feng, that's it. She's the rich wench who paid for Ma's hospital stay. Skinny, anemic thing. Never eats. All she ever orders is cheap red wine. First I thought it was a fling, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe you can split them up. I thank you for it. Thanks for your help, Chef. I'll see what I can do. No, thank you. As you approach the door, a light set into your key fob goes from red to green. There is a loud series of thunks and the door slides open. A blast of frigid air floods into the room from the other side. Interesting. An expensive consumer-grade computer terminal awaits your input. The display background is set to a screen capture from Promises in Moonlight. Penelope Wong's radiant face beams at you from a corner of the screen. This must be Ma's personal terminal, he smiles. Can't think of a better place to dig for dirt in the man. A few keystrokes is all it takes to get into the computer's file structure. With the high-tech security door in his apartment, it seems Ma never bothered to encrypt his machine. An options menu appears on the screen. You read through Ma's email, most of it's spam and boring business arrangements, but one detail stands out. Neville Ma is frequently emailing a woman named Ku Feng. They seem close, exchanging a lot of thinly veiled flirtation. It appears that Neville has been lavishing Ku Feng with money and affection, expensive gifts, rent checks, miserable attempts at poetry, seeing to it that her every need is met. Neville's financial records are astoundingly boring, aside from two major things. He spent next to nothing on his hospital bills, where it appears he only stayed for 3 days, and he's spending a lot of money on a woman named Ku Feng. jewelry, bills, clothes, and such. With a push of a button, you unlock the office door on the other side of the room. An ominous thunk reverberates throughout the cold steel apartment. Without warning, a frigid wind blows to the apartment. The chill cuts through your clothing, raising goose flesh all over your body. Where's that coming from? There's another blast of cold, and a pale and imposing woman materializes out of thin air. A throng of blank-faced men and women materialize alongside her. Ah, the little dog who's been sniffing around Neville Ma's affairs. Her voice is empress, arrogant. Ku Feng, I presume. She nods. Just so. My servants have been watching you since you arrived. I suspect that you are an evil man, and that you are here to do harm to Neville. And so, I came to stop you. I couldn't be less interested in hurting Neville, lady. I'm just here to finish a job. If that is true, then it is a shame. You've seen my face and you know what I am. Naturally, I cannot allow you to leave, and you can't afford to fight me here for fear of police involvement. She lifts her chin imperiously. Perhaps we can settle this in a more civilized manner, a face-off in a neutral location. Will you accept my challenge? A good old-fashioned fight. As for the terms, if I win, you willingly submit to my influence. You become my pawn. And if you win, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Excuse me, I had to burp. She nods, grinning. Wait 15 minutes for the sun to go down, then come to the roof. We'll settle this there, like gentlemen and ladies. The sun dips below the horizon. Mist coalesces, coating the rooftop in dew. Ku Feng and her cohorts appear. Are you prepared to become my servant, human? You must not resist, or I'll be forced to kill you. Should it come to that, I'll endeavor to make it swift and painless. But no promises. Let's see what you've got. This will be entertaining. Kill him. So we got a fucking vampire. We've got the vampiro. Alright, let's zoom out a little bit. See what we're working with. Get the shotty out. You already know I like the shotty. Hit him with the shah. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Come on, man. Why you do that, man? Why you miss the shot, man? Ooh, ISO bell. ISO bell. Oh my god. Let's go ahead and get out the Force Devil Rat. I'm just kidding. We have a 53 on him, so hopefully. Ooh! Ooh! Okay, Devil Rat. You're not playing. We're gonna put Duncan over here. Dunk, my boy. 81%. Gobbit? What you working with? Okay, that's usually what ends up happening. Why y'all running up like that, I will never know, but check this out. It's called a shotgun, and I use it to kill people. See that? Alright, so Bill, come on, he's right next to you. Okay. Oh my God, Duncan, good shot, my boy. Good shot, my boy. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and max out on AP here, because we are not playing with this damn little rat right here. Let's get him. Bite him. Bite him. Stop missing. Oh, baby. You missed, bitch. You missed, bitch. Ooh, okay, you did miss, though. Alright, let's get some AR action with me, myself, and I. We got this guy just standing there, so we're gonna go ahead and light his ass up. Drop them. Nice, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, let's see what else we got here. We got this dude just standing here. Can Isobel take care of him? She sure can. She sure can, and she does. We got a guy back there just chilling. Gobbit, you know what? Go ahead and put your influences into the rats. We're going to go and bite. Go and gobble this mother fricker up. Yum, 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 baby. Num, 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 baby. Missed every hit, bro. Come on, dude. Alright, I know I have some fucking abilities. Let me give myself... Matter of fact, let's give Duncan some AP here. So he has 4 AP now. Duncan, move up. I'm gonna need you to hit up this man right here. For 33 damage. God damn. This is it right here for you, my boy. Ding! Yep. She's like, oh no! Dude, this rat totem is the shit. Okay. Dude, you were getting wrecked right now, like. Hold up. Ooh, Isobel! Oh my God! With the critical trigger, alright. Ku Feng's calm and haughty demeanor dissolves as her eyes grow wild. Wait, I surrender. Don't kill me. What's wrong? Not feeling so powerful now. She clasps her hands, pleading. The whole Mistress of the Night thing, it's just an act. I'm just an accountant that got infected. I don't really know how to fight. I was faking it. I just wanted to scare you into backing down. Look how that turned out. Yeah, I know. I blew it. I knew that this duel was a bad idea the moment I agreed to it, but I couldn't back down in front of my pawns. It would have been humiliating. She looks away. Like I said, I'm just an accountant. I never went to vampire school. What I did do was get drunk on a business trip, black out, and wake up in an alley like this. And so you, what, decided to embrace the whole vampire thing? What choice did I have? I couldn't go back to work. It was a dead-end job anyway. No upward mobility, no room for growth. I did what anyone would have done. I tried to make the best of it to capitalize on my new abilities. I'm a vampire now. I can't control that, but I can control how I choose to monetize it. So what's your end game? How did you see this working out? Beats me. It's not like I have a rule book for this or anything. I'm just making it up as I go along. Who knows? Maybe I could eventually become the vampire queen of Repulse Bay. I hate to break it to you, but that isn't likely to happen. Don't you think that I know that? I've been trained to use a printing calculator, not bite people's necks. I'm just doing my best. She looks away in shame. Her voice goes flat. Look, if I'm ever found out, I'll be killed for bounty money. It was either this or get gunned down by a vampire hunter. Shouldn't your family or coworkers be looking for you? Not if I can help it. You think that I want them to see me like this? As far as my friends and family are concerned, I'm missing. Have been for months. They probably think that I'm dead. Her chest hitches. She looks miserable. I think that's for the best. I mean, how could I explain what I've become? Can you imagine how ashamed my family would be to find that I've become this monster? No, I think it's better that they think I'm dead. So, can we call a truce or something? I scratch your back, you let me live? She clasped her hands, pleading. What do you say? I think we can work something out conditionally. She nods eagerly. Yes, yes, anything. Just tell me what you need. First off, I want some answers. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. You ask the questions, I'll answer. No lying, I promise. How were you and Neville Ma connected? I happen to be in the same hospital that he was, trolling for a meal. I don't like to drink blood from unwilling people, so I go to hospitals at night looking for people who don't mind if I take a sip. People in comas, patients with terminal illnesses, that kind of thing. It makes me feel better about what I have to do. So I wandered into his room and I recognized Neville Ma. I'd seen him on the news, seen photos of the accident. He was in a really bad shape, a lot of broken bones and internal injuries, but somehow he was still conscious. What then? Well, I knew that if I gave uninfected people my blood, they'd be able to heal like I did, just not as fast. I'd figured that out early and by mistake, but it can come in handy from time to time. So when I saw that Neville was conscious, I decided to make my grand appearance. I materialized in the room and told him that I'd make him a trade. I'd fix him up, good as new, but he'd owed me some favors for it. It wasn't specific as to how many favors or what kind. Hello, Lilyflower. Welcome to the stream. Moo, I see you. He agreed. Actually, he leapt at the chance to become my pawn. I guess that when you're all broken up like that, you'll do just about anything to get better. The deal was done, and we got along. I think he's charming. He thinks I'm funny, and he doesn't care that I'm a vampire. He told me that he gives me nice things because he likes me, and not because he owes me his life. It's all very sweet. What's it like to be a vampire? About the same as being a person. The metahuman vampiric virus is like any other disease, except instead of coughing, I can't go out during the day. It's not all bad though. I can turn into mist, and I'm a lot stronger than I used to be. I still have to wash my hair and pay for parking. You know what I miss the most? Steamed buns. I can't eat or drink anything except blood, and I loved street food before I got infected. Sometimes I'll walk by food carts just to smell the things they're frying up, but if I buy something, 10 minutes later, it's all coming back up in a mess. You're a magical vampire? Okay, Lilyflower, that's great. Is there a cure? I wish, but no. The only cure is being tossed in a bonfire, having your head cut off. And almost every nation in the world will pay a bounty for a dead vampire. It's not like I had much of a choice, you know. Be a vampire or get killed for some quick cash. It's a pretty raw deal for me either way. I've decided what's going to happen. Okay. She exhales heavily. What's it gonna be? Go into hiding. Go into hiding. Don't contact Neville again or I'll come back for you. I can accept that. And thank you. It's more kindness than I accepted. Or expected. My bad. So yeah, she's done. And we're done. We can get up out of here. There's still people to talk to. So let's go and talk to people. Yeah, if I was her, I would end him. Move. Okay. Can't talk to her. Okay. Good, good, good. All right. I think we're good to go. Well, look, here's the thing. You would have to fight. And essentially, that guy is me. So you would have to fight me. And I clearly killed all her people off. And I killed, I could have killed her, but I'm being nice. The clink of glasses and sound of Neville Maw's party fades into the distance as you leave the Repulse Bay. As the MTR carries you toward Hawi, the mountains of Hong Kong Island roll by as looming masses, obscured by rain and storm clouds. While Penelope Wong is still attached to promises and moonlight. Sorry, I had to burp. The circumstances surrounding Neville Ma's recovery should provide plenty of fodder for Dr. Shin Yong's blackmail plans. With Ku Feng in hiding, Ma will find himself without his most powerful ally and unable to protect himself from Shin Yong. Alright, we got 4 karma. That's great. Now we're going to go and turn in this quest to Dr. Shin Yong. Wait, what is that? Pick up. What is this? Hell yeah, I'll take that, bro. Free dock wagon kit? Shin Yong is busily puffing away on a foul-smelling cigar, his comlink in one hand. His eyes flash with anticipatory glee as he sees you. Dr. Shen Yong greets you in the name of all producers. How'd the shindig go? I've got the information you've wanted. You explain the night's events from start to finish. As you speak, Shen Yong's face grows ever more incredulous, until finally his mouth is left hanging halfway open. He slowly places a cigar in a nearby ashtray and shakes his head in disbelief. A vampire sucking on Neville? Ain't that some shit? Wouldn't have guessed that was his ticket out of the hospital. I gotta admit, I'm a little ticked off there wasn't anything else I could use to get Wong away from Neville, but that ain't your fault. And that vampire out on the loose to boot? Maybe if I track her down, I'll have more leverage. Alright, kid. I'll send payment to your Matrix drop. You earned it. Glad to be a help. Dr. Shen Yong is about to speak, but his comlink begins to buzz. Irritated, he answers it and switches to speaker mode. Yeah, who is it? What do you want? Hello, Shen Yong. I just wanted to let you know that I've released Penelope Wong from her contract. If you're still interested in her, she's all yours. Also, I hope your business is doing alright. I'd heard you had some problems with cash flow. If you need a loan, I'd be happy to help. Dr. Shen Yong eyes the image of Neville Ma with deep suspicion. You don't sound too mad, Nev. What's the catch here anyway? You must have the next big thing lined up already. Oh, Doctor, there's no need for it. Do you want to know why I keep winning our little contests and you're always playing catch up? It's because you think people like Miss Wong actually matter. They don't. Stars are crafted, molded out of talent, yes, but ultimately constructed. With enough time and effort, anyone can be made into a star. It's just a question of manipulating public perception. Maybe so, but I got her now, and your show's dead in the water without the star. What do you think of that, eh? I think that I'm going to do what any good soap opera producer would do. Write her character out with a tragic death, and bring on someone new. You labor under misapprehension that viewers have loyalty. They don't. They only have appetite. As long as you chase stars like Wong, you will lose. Don't be afraid to think bigger, Doctor. Reach for the drama, not the dramatists. With that, Neville Ma hangs up on Dr. Shenyang. For the next 30 seconds, Dr. Shenyang releases a stream of violently imaginative invectives at his phone. Even Strangler Bao looks taken aback at the ferocity of Shenyang's anger and the inventiveness of the sexual positions that he describes. Finally, he takes a deep breath and composes himself. That dirty little weasel insulting my creativity like that. The nerve. Go on, kid. We're done here. Thanks for all your help. But I gotta get going. I gotta talk to a guy about buying a bunch of snakes. You have two unread messages. From Crafty Jew to Zero. Subject, Mother's Notes. Hey Zero, here are those notes you asked for. But before you dive in, a heads up. There are a complete transcription of that list from my mother's journal, as in their thoughts and ramblings of an insane woman. It's not an easy read. Another dream. This time, it was a near figure. It was a near figure, a shadow, a wraith, faceless. I heard its voice, though it did not speak, and when I awoke, I was inside my home, though I had been in the city just moments before. Where am I? A weight dropped into me. I felt the words of the wraith in my skin, in the tips of my hair. I saw its mouth in my mind's eye, rows and rows and rows of lies. Morning. My hand was to the paper before I even knew I was writing. It wrote these words. They cannot lie. I added it to my list. Evening. Was it a king I saw? Yes. Was I really there? I was in the city, I'm sure of it. Then how did I end up here? Was I carried back? My list is growing. Soon, with this knowledge, I will stop the kings. A step forward is a step backward. A step backward is a step forward. Each wraith has a name, a true name. And a false name. Knowing their true name is knowing their weakness. To call them on their lies is to make yourself invincible. They will still try to eat you. They fear the feathers of unborn chicks. Kings must be one or the other. That's of the negative world. Or positive. But positive doesn't necessarily make them good nor negative. Make them bad. They simply are. Once a deal is brokered, it cannot be unmade. Kings and the planets are closely connected. When nearest the sun, their power wanes. When farthest, it grows. There's only one wraith. There's only one wraith. There may be two wraiths, but there is most certainly only one wraith. They must follow the laws of the universe, rules set in motion long ago. Should they concede defeat, all is lost to them. Kings are the rulers of us all. They take from us their lifeblood, and with it parts of our souls. Do not give them what they seek, and you will be their match. They cannot lie. Morning. I made breakfast. I fell on the floor in the shape of my death. Another truth revealed to me. I added it to my list. It's all or nothing. They're all liars. Another dream. It was in white space. I could taste the color as if it were air. This time, no voice. Just rows and 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 rows. A mess, I know. There's not a whole lot of significant material other than what I already picked out, but even that is contradicted within Mom's notes. Everything should be taken with a grain of salt. Meantime, I'll keep looking into it. Good luck on your end, Crafty. Oh, excuse me. More notes from Crafty. Zero. While I was blazing through my mom's journals, something struck me. We spent so much time reading about the walled city that I haven't thought to look at it, to paint a picture with the information we've been gathering. Ugh. So I contacted a friend of mine, Riley, a Decker, and asked her to pull some data for me. Her results were surprising, and for what it's worth, I think we're onto something. Riley dug up records of things like reported sleep disturbances, psychotic breaks, HKPF responses to cult activities, etc. She found that they all form a classic bullseye heat pattern around the walled city. She couldn't find any data from within the walled city itself, but the outside data was still enough to establish a pattern inside the slum. This has got to be more than a coincidence. It's too unnatural to be attributed to anything else. I don't know what it means yet, but I've got my nose to the books. I'll let you know when I find out. One other thing, that last email I sent you, the one with my mother's notes, I went ahead and reread it, and that took me back to the source text, and I was able to pull something else from her list. This isn't much, but it seems to be pretty consistent across her ramblings. If I'm reading it, it's kind of like a set of rules that govern the interactions of the Yama Kings. It's surprisingly bureaucratic if I'm reading it right. The most interesting tidbit is this. There's something here about the Kings being unable to back down in a deal. It's like if they give an inch, they forfeit everything. From what I'm reading, the Yama Kings have their own code of laws, but they don't have to follow them unless you know how to call them on it. Like, they break the rules all the time, but if you can't cite chapter and verse on which rule they're breaking, it doesn't matter to them. Approach from a place of wisdom, though, and you can bind them with their own laws. Anyway, this is all really arcane stuff, but I think that there might be something here. I can't vouch for any of it, obviously. When you take a step back, it all sounds like crazy talk. But one thing I can tell you for certain, my mother believed it was true. If anything else comes up, you'll be the first to know. Crafty. Alright, let's claim the money for this job. Cool. Alright, we got some pay data to post. We ended up getting a 400 bucks. Not bad, not bad. Do we have any more pay data? No, we do not. She's gone, Sierra. I don't know where she ran off to, but she looked upset. She just said something about friends in trouble, then left. By the time I could disconnect from the octopus, she was on her way out of town. She must have gone back to the sinking ship. I don't like the sound of that. She tell you what went down out there all those years ago? A bit, yeah. She's been worried about Cadmus and Malvina. She said that she thought it was nothing, though. She turns her back and begins grabbing her gear. Well, apparently she changed her mind, so we'd better go and get her. Hadn't we? Let's do it. I'm going to arrange transport out to Hung Hom Bay. You come meet me at the docks when you're ready. Isobel glasses up at you. Her expression is grim. Zero, I've come to a decision. I want these memories out of my head. They're an unpleasant distraction, and I was happier without them. When all this is all over, I'm deleting them. To hell with locking them away again. I'm gonna purge my childhood altogether, shred the memories, and move on. As an added bonus, it'll clear up a lot of headwear memory. I'm thinking that I could store some Simpsons recordings up there. Maybe make it so that when I try to remember my past, I get summers on the beach instead of sorrow and pain. These memories are a part of you, and they've changed you. Purging them will kill that part of you again. Oh, yeah? Good. That part of me knows this shit would be better off dead. The rest of me will be a whole lot happier, too. Yeah, sure. I saw shit in the Barrens that I'd probably be happier to forget, too. But living through those experiences made me stronger. Good for you. I don't want to be strong. Not if this is the price. I'm the one who has to live with this thing. Don't waste your breath telling me not to get rid of it. She squeezes her eyes shut, rubs the bridge of her nose between thumb and forefinger. Anyway, I guess that you're here with more questions, right? Let's get them answered. I have a question about the walled city. Alright, go ahead. Is there anything else you could tell me about the Yama Kings? Yeah, I've got another one for you if you want it. I can't say whether this is based on any kind of truth or not. That's for you to decide. But I was always popular when I was growing. But it was always popular when I was growing up, especially with the other kids my age. You see why we liked it in the end. You'll see why we liked it in the end. All right, lay it on me. Okay, this one was about a boy named Gordon Yam and how he saved his mother from a fate worse than death. Give me 1 second. I gotta move this fan to better reposition it. Okay. As the story goes, Gordon was the cleverest boy in the walled city. He could steal whatever he liked without getting caught, could sneak into any room unseen, and could talk his way past any grown up that might try to stop him. You get the picture. A real hero figure for the 9-year-old said. So one day, Gordon's mother fell ill. It was a bloody flux brought on by a curse, and it was going to kill her. She told Gordon that he should accept her death. The curse had come from a Yama King, and there was no medicine that could prevent it from claiming her. She begged him to run, to escape the walled city, and to use his cleverness to make a life for himself somewhere far away. Gordon loved his mother, and he refused to obey her request. Instead, he searched high and low for a way to save her life. Excuse me. For a long time, nothing came to him. But finally, he happened upon an old man who told him about a powerful Yama King that could cure any illness for a price. Which Yama King? One of the ones that you've told me about, or a different one? Different. He doesn't have a name, or he did, but because of what happened, speaking it is taboo. The story's a little fuzzy on the details. We always just called him the Nameless King. So Gordon went out in search of the Nameless King. He made his way through Triad territory, past the Thrill Gangers and the Organ Leggers, you know the drill. Eventually, he made it to the inner walled city, where he found the Nameless King's court. The human servants of the Nameless King took Gordon to stand before the creature they worshipped, and Gordon proposed his deal. Nameless King, he said, I need your help. My mother is dying of an illness that only you can cure. That may be so, said the Nameless King, but what is it to me? What will you offer me if I spare her? If you will restore her health, I will join your court in repayment. I, the cleverest boy in the walled city, I will serve you loyalty. loyally and well. The nameless king was excited then, for he knew of Gordon's cleverness and he coveted the little boy's soul. Gordon pulled a braid of his mother's hair from his pocket and held it before the nameless king. "A lock of my mother's hair, O king," he said. "Cure her of this flux, and I am yours to command as you please." The nameless king worked his magic, and Gordon's mother was cured. So what happened then? Did Gordon join the nameless king's court? No. When the nameless king turned on Gordon, he laughed in the monster's face. "I have tricked you, nameless king, for my mother was the property of another of your kind. In curing her, you have robbed a Yama king of his dinner." The nameless king raged and turned on Gordon, his razor blade fingers flexing wide. Before he could bring his arm down, a killing stroke, it was caught in a grasp of the 1,000 hooks, claws, and fangs. The Yama Kings, all of them. "You have stolen from one of your own kind, brother," said the Yama Kings. "Her life was not yours to save." Gordon slipped away as the Yama Kings descended on their brother. He did not watch as they tore the nameless king apart and bathed in his steaming viscera. He made his way back home to his mother, who was cured. And that was the one time that a living boy outwitted a Yama King. She stretches, cracking her back, clears her throat awkwardly. And that's the story. Like I said, you can see why we like it. It's basically a fairy tale, and the little boy wins in the end. It's the only story about the Yama Kings that contains even a shred of hope. What do you think it means? I don't know. Probably doesn't mean anything. It's just a story is all. You're the one who asked. Anyway, is there anything else you want to know? That's it for now. Can we talk about something else? Please, to be honest, almost anything else would be preferable. Any thoughts about the last run? I have to admit, I had a lot more fun in Repulse Bay than I thought I would. Parties aren't really my thing, and I'd rather be slicing ice than cake. But how many people can say they went to a run of blackmail? They went on a run to blackmail a rich guy and ended up fighting his vampire mistress. Nobody on Shadowlands would believe me if I told them the story. Not even a little. I don't get why Shin Yang hired Shadowrunners, though. There are a dozen better ways to blackmail Ma, get a Decker to plant evidence of embezzling, hire the Triads to crash his sets and intimidate his crew, bum down a soundstage or two. The way I figured, he wanted to hire us because he's friends with Ma. It's a messed up friendship, but it's there. It was a good move chasing Ku Fang off, but I can't help but wonder if we could have squeezed more Nguyen out of Sheng Yang if we found a way to get Wong fired. If we'd done that, everything would have lined up for Shin Yang's company to eclipse Ma's. Oh well, you can't have everything. Anything else you wanted to know? I've got to go, Isobel. Sure, drop by anytime. You walk into a mess. Half-eaten cans of food litter the floor, and personal equipment is strewed about in a haphazard fashion. Amid the mess, Wu sits in his bunk and his back against the wall, or with his back against the wall. He has a PDA in his hand, and he's staring down and is sullen and morose. He doesn't acknowledge your entry. We have stuff to talk about. Do we? He doesn't look up. Whatever. Go ahead then. Talk. What are you looking at on the PDA? A video of Edward's song. Where do you get it? Isobel dug it up. It's archival footage from the Walled City project. What's he doing? Being Raymond, telling people what to do, how to do it. Except that he's younger, and he's rich and powerful. His name is Edward. He glances up, his eyes are rimmed in red. Do you want to see it? Yeah, fire it up. Sure, why not? Wu taps a button and turns the PDA around so you can see it. The footage shows a serious Chinese man in an expensive suit sitting behind a large solid wood desk covered in blueprints. The man is holding a magnifying glass over one of the plans and studying it intently. He folds the blueprint over and checks the one beneath it. The nameplate on the desk reads, Edward Song, Vice President of Special Forces. The video is rough and contains no sound. He may have been footage. It may have been footage for a documentary that was never completed. The next shot is from some sort of planning meeting in a glass enclosed conference room. The serious man is sitting at the conference table, pointing to a large map and looking up at the men standing around him. He is explaining something. They look at each other and nod, clearly impressed by what he has to say. The whiteboard at the end of the room bears the words groundbreaking, 21st May, 2022, written in bold characters, Raymond's writing. The footage cuts to a scene of two people talking at the end of a long hallway. They don't appear to know that they're being recorded. It's the serious man, listening intently to what an older woman has to say, nodding with his arms crossed and his thumbs at his lips. The woman is the same one that was in the tapped video call that Kindly Chang showed you, Josephine Song. She is somewhere in her late middle age, beautiful and very clearly in charge. The two look up at the same time, see the camera, and begin waving their hands for it to be turned off. The one appears angry but cold. The video ends, and Wu puts the PDA face down on his bunk. Wu shrugs his shoulders, searches your eyes. Who is that guy? I don't know anymore. Yeah, me either. Maybe when we find the plastic-faced man, we'll get some answers. Until then, Raymond Black is Raymond Black, and this guy is someone else. Come on, what'd you think about the last run? What do I think about it? Well, let me ponder that for a second. He begins ticking off items on his fingers. We crashed a fancy party, disturbed the who's who of the Hong Kong trio scene, and fought a vampire. I guess that we chased away the vampire, so there's something. We didn't do much else, mind you. The starlet is still doing her thing, and I'm sure that Doc Shin Yong will be pissed. He shakes his head. I don't know, Jax. I guess I just preferred the simplicity of being a cop. About what? What about it? I'm sorry, I skipped over that. I never really had a problem with him. Of course not. You knew how to avoid conflict with him. He had that way of diffusing him when he started with that Intenso Ray thing he used to do. Remember? Intenso Ray. I haven't thought of that in a long time. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit gassy from dinner. Burping a lot. I think you were the one who came up with the name. It was like the summer after we started living with him and Miss Maloney. Raid found out that we hadn't followed one of his rules. I don't remember which. There was a long list. I think you were still smoking. Yeah, I think that was it. I was smoking, and he was pissed and said that fat kids who smoke die faster. So just to be obstinate, I told him I like to smoke. And we got into it. Then you came in and diffused the whole situation. Wu stops talking. His expression becomes thoughtful. I think that's why I was so resentful when you took off, especially after Miss Maloney died. You were the only one who could get through to him when he became Intenso Ray. Like the day 162s decided they wanted our squad. I don't want to talk about that right now, Jax. I've got enough on my mind as it is. Stuff like my father betraying my trust. The clanking of metal, followed by grunts from hard exercise, erupt from the hatchway of Wu's cabin. The first thing you notice The first thing you notice when you enter is a renewed cleanliness. The food cans are gone, and the equipment is neatly laid out on his bedding, everything in its place. The next thing you notice is the smell. It's like a middle school locker room in July. Wu finishes his jumping jacks and grabs a towel off his bunk. His exposed flesh gleams with perspiration. Hey, hey, how's it going? Better. He scrubs his sweaty head with the towel. I let myself wallow for a while, but now it's time to turn things around. We have work to do. What's your deal? I'm still thinking about Edward's song. He rubs the towel under his arms. Compartmentalized them. Edward's song is a topic in a file cabinet in my head. I'm only thinking about Raymond now. Finding out what happened to him. What really happened to him. Still think he's alive. More than ever, Raymond's alive. I'm sure of it. He continues stretching. We're getting close to the plastic-faced man, Duncan. I know. I haven't stopped thinking about him since we first saw him in that video. The one where he attacked Raymond in the tea house. He wipes down one side of his neck with the towel, folds it, wipes down the other side. Listen, Jax, I'm not going to press you to take me with you when you head out to snatch him. You take the right people for the job, and then you get the job done, okay? But I want to be there when you interrogate him. I want to hear what he has to say with my own ears. Are you going to have a problem with that? No, of course not. Good, we're brothers. I'd hate to have to mess you up. He flashes his pearly whites. Like I said, you can take me with you on the run or not. It's your call. But I intend to be there for the fun part. Easy, Duncan. This is about Raymond, not hurting people for kicks. Knock off the easy Duncan crap, Jax. I'm not doing anything for kicks. He drops his towel on his bunk. This is the guy who knows what the hell is going on. The one who may have killed Raymond. And I'm gonna squeeze him until I find out what he knows. Just promise me that you'll be able to control yourself. Otherwise, we are going to have a problem. This is Raymond we're talking about. Wu drops his hand to his sides and closes the gap between you. His voice is calm, sober, deliberate. I'm not going to screw this up. I promise. You told me how you told me you were resentful when I took off, but maybe it was about how Raymond handled the thing with Double Trey. Nah, it was about you disappearing for 8 years without a word. But we're past that now. Wu pulls his right elbow across his chest with his left hand. Gets a good stretch. But that was a messed up night. A lot of things happened, and I wouldn't be surprised if some, I don't know, emotions got jumbled together. Feelings about the way I handled things. That was part of it, sure. I'm still carrying that around. But mostly it was about Raymond. We butted heads before. I'd broken plenty of his rules in the past. But it was mostly about Raymond. We butted heads before. I had broken plenty of his rules in the past. But I'd never seen him so disappointed. I'm still not sure why. Never figured it out. Why don't you walk through it from the beginning? Start with when Lockjaw showed up at Ray's house. Wu pulls his left elbow across his chest, lets out a little groan. So this was 2045. Years after the summer we moved in with Raymond. We hadn't seen DT or Lockjaw or any of the gang in forever. Raymond's rules. No contact with our hoodlum friends. No visiting the squat to check up on them. Right. He insisted on a clean break. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. Exactly. He wanted us focused on our future, not bogged down in past mistakes. The way I remember it, we woke up in the middle of the night and there was Lockjaw standing in our room, covered in blood. My first thought was that Raven was going to kill us. Can you imagine? There's a teenage stylish Indian covered in blood in our bedroom, and my first thought was that I might get in trouble for it. We just started our new life. We were safe for the first time ever. We didn't want to blow it. I know I didn't want to go back to the Barrens. We had it good at Raymond's. Wu throws his elbow behind him, twists at the waist. So Lockjaw's bleeding all over her bedroom, and you whisper, yelling, "Where's DT? What happened to Double Trey?" 5 minutes later, we're dressed in black and on our way back to the Barrens. We had to. Of course. If it wasn't for Double Trey, neither of us would be here right now. DT was the one who took us to the teen center, introduced us to Raymond. Man, that was a messed up night. The 162s had overrun the Leary squad, better position to take on the nukes. Benzo and the Tuss were bleeding out. The Hernandez family was half-eaten, and Lil Joe, that streetwalker with the electric false eyelashes, was lying on the floor in 2 parts. But we got Double Trey out alive. He was the only one, though. Wu stares at his boot. I can still hear Lockjaw screaming as the ghouls took him down. When the 162s wanted something, they did not play. Anyway, all that was just lead up. He lets out a long, slow breath. But still, it speaks to my state of mind that night. Why I wouldn't back down when Raymond met us at the door. Neither one of you would budge. We both had the strength of the righteous. You and I had broken his rules out of loyalty, out of gratitude. He just didn't get that. But can you see it from his perspective? Now I can, yeah. Wu rubs his head thinking. He didn't just think we had broken his rules or that we'd backslid. He thought that we'd been playing him the whole year, that we were still street hoods. No wonder he was so furious. He felt betrayed. But you were able to get him to calm down and see reason. Get him to see my side of the story. And all you said was that one thing. That thing that he said his mother used to say to him when he was being obstinate. The hell was it? Listen to what you know instead of what you fear. Listen to what you know instead of what you fear. Wu nods his head, remembering. Yeah, that what you fear thing really got to him. Still not sure why. Using his mother's words on him really did the trick. I wonder what kind of childhood he had. He rubs his chin, but the way he looked at you after that. I know. I think that may have been part of why. I think that may have been part of why I left. Yeah, I get it. We're cool now. And as for Edward Song, maybe he's got mommy issues. And who knows? Maybe I've got a few daddy issues to deal with too. Guess I should try and keep an open mind when we see him. Let's talk later. Anytime. Ractor's shop is alive with motion. Wall mounted tools, hammer, and spark, each according to its own rhythm. The cacophony reverberates in the metal confines of the converted engine room, attacking your ears as the light of acetylene torches stabs your eyes. My friend, you've come back. Ractor turns toward you. His boots are off, and you can see the metallic gleam of his feet. Freed from the confines of his boots, the appendages have unfolded, clawed, gripping toes splay out in all directions, at least 8 to a foot. They look alien and predatory, like the talons of some great carnivorous bird. I wasn't convinced that you'd want to continue our little chats after the last time. From under his desk, a glint of light catches your eye. Koshé, I am glad that I was wrong. Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss our talks for the world. I'm pleased to hear you say so. I'd rather enjoy them myself. He turns, the sound of metal on metal filling your ears. So, what shall we talk about? Ractor, what's up with your feet? The replacements that I was fitted with all those many years ago. The many talon-like toes that splay out from his feet claw at the ground, scraping against the metal flooring. They have been modified somewhat between then and now, as you can see. Improved. What animal did you base your redesign on? The claws were inspired by the harpy eagle. Quite a majestic creature, a hunter of primates, you know. He smiles. The quantity was driven by artistic license. Impractical, perhaps, but they please me all the same. I see that the shop is running again. What are you working on now? More options for Koshi as always. He is still far from perfect, but every iteration inches him closer. I have questions for you about something that you mentioned last time. The corner of his mouth lifts into a wry smile. Yes, I imagine you do. Go on. Then, ask away. So, in your ideal future, people without empathy, morality, or humanity will replace the rest of us. That sound about right. Yes, people like me. Tell me, my friend, how does that make you feel? What is your gut reaction to the vision that I have shared with you? It doesn't make me feel much of anything. It's a pipe dream reactor. It's never gonna happen. He frowns knowingly. Of course it will. But you do not know, of course. You don't share our selective advantage. I suppose it stands to reason that you would put your head in the sand. It's a natural reaction, albeit a useless one. I promise you, my friend, if you move past your atavistic reaction, you will see how right this is. The sixth world is no place for compassion. It is a predatory world, a world of monsters. Some of those came with the awakening, and others are of our own design. But they are there, and if we are to survive, we need to shed those weaknesses that prevent us from competing with them. I speak with the clarity of a man who is not a man, in mind or in body. The things that others refuse to see are as plain to me as the light of day. I tell you, my friend, life is better this way. One day you will see for yourself, and you will thank me for what I have shared with you. If what you believe is true, if people with your condition will inherit the earth, how long do you think that can last? Indefinitely. What makes you ask? I deal with people like you and the Barons all the time. More often than not, they killed each other off. You're suggesting that we'll burn ourselves out, annihilate ourselves. I will concede that this is possible, but I think it is unlikely. This is the sixth world after all. Even if meta-humanity is supplanted by post-humanity, there will be other forces at work in the world. We will not be alone. You're talking about the supernatural, dragon spirits, that kind of thing. Yes, any form of intelligence that cannot or will not make the leap that we will make. Dragons and spirits would qualify. So would any meta-human holdovers that cling to their natural bodies. Artificial intelligences could also prove problematic. And what would and what would they be to you? Competition, prey. That remains to be seen. But they would give my people something to rally against. The corner of his mouth tilts upward. The smile contains no warmth. I, for one, am looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. Aren't you? You said that you were diagnosed as a psychopath when you were 8. What led to that diagnosis? My mother had me tested. She'd always kept a watchful eye on me, obsessively, so truth be told. I was rather poor. It was a rather poor way to experience childhood. Why was she watching you? What did you do? Very little. She blew my childhood behaviors out of proportion. I'm afraid the woman had always been motivated by fear. He sighs. She had her reasons, I suppose. What reasons are you talking about? Malignant narcissism runs in my family. None of the men of my line have understood the concepts of conscience or empathy, and they wouldn't have had much use for them if they had. My grandfather was an abusive drunk who killed his own brother with a gasoline-powered ice auger. My father was a terror to his employees and assistants, a shark in a business suit. I suppose that my mother expected me to follow in their footsteps. After a brief pause, his lip tilts into a smirk. I suppose that she was right, in a way. My career in the shadows has led me to more bloodshed my my than my grandfather's mania could have ever hoped to. I was driven to it, though, driven by theft and betrayal. Left to my own devices, I might never have taken to a human life. Maybe you wouldn't have hurt anybody if things have gone differently. I've got my doubts though. Perhaps you're right. I might have gone on to be a serial killer or worse, but there is no sense in debating such things. Things happened as they did, and we are both the better for it, are we not? Surely it is advantageous to have to have me on the team. Yes, Ractor. It's good for us that you're here. The corner of his mouth tilts upward. Well then, there you have it. So after you were diagnosed, what happened? He shrugs. I learned what was expected of me. The doctor was very helpful in that regard. He offered false hope and placebos, and false promises that he could cure me if my family met his price. All I had to do was play along and my problems would be solved. It wasn't difficult to pretend that I had been cured. Once I understood the outward signs that my mother was looking for, I was able to ape them well enough. In time, my mother came around. So you lied then. You pretended to be cured when you weren't. I put on a mask, both for my own benefit and the benefit of my family. I knew what would happen if I didn't. I had been caught, and my mother's scrutiny would only increase if I didn't convince her that I was better. My grandfather lived out his final days in Black Dolphin Prison. Do you know the place? I've heard stories. It's a storied place. Excuse me. One of the most appalling detainment facilities in Russia, and that is saying quite a lot. I was determined not to follow in the old man's footsteps. I'm not an animal to be caged. Ractor bends down and runs his fingers over Koshei's chassis. The drone stands motionless, the lenses of its many optical sensors focused on you. In any case, there you have it. I am glossing over many of the details, of course, but I'd rather not discuss my childhood any further. Instead, let us think to the future and to the promise that it holds. So, where do we go from here? Forward, my friend, always forward. Silently, Koshei studies you, its articulated pedipalps weaving hypnotically. Will you join me? You will join me, won't you? The future beckons the both of us equally. Follow me and I will guide you into a better tomorrow. I can think of nothing that would please me more. We'll agree to disagree about your perfect future for the present, though. uh, Perfect future for the present, though. You have my support. Very good, my friend. If nothing else, I will have ample time to convince you. But in the immediate future, there is small matter of the walled city to contend with. I will, of course, continue to help you as best as I can. I need allies as badly as you do, and it is in my best interest to keep them alive. Glad to have you with us, Ractor. It isn't often that a guy gets a chance to work with a man of the future. He chuckles. No, I suppose not. And now, if you'll excuse me. Yeah, I know. You've got work to do. You see, you know me so well. It's as if we share a single mind. He nods, smiling. Goodbye. The cabin is silent aside from the occasional swish of air as Gaichu steps through sword forms. He holds each stance for a few seconds, practicing a given swing a few times before switching to the next. Hello, Zero. A single bead of sweat rolls down Gaichu's temple as he holds his position. After a few moments, he shifts to a relaxed stance, starting the form again. Pardon me for continuing my exercises. I feel that I have been letting them slip of late. You're worried you're getting rusty. No, that is not quite it. Rather, I wish to learn to bring my enhanced strength and speed to bear. In order to do so, I must ensure that my blindness does not hinder me. Perfection is a journey, not a destination. Gaichu lifts his sword, offering it edge first toward you. Do you see that edge? Forged by one of the finest swordsmiths in modern Japan. Diamond-coated edge, capable of cutting even the most hardened ceramic armors. But what good is a sharpened edge without the precision to apply it? When I was still a man, I could have cut a single pea in half with my eyes closed. Oddly, after becoming blind, I cannot replicate this feat. Running the back of his claw along the blade's surface, Gaichu smiles thinly. I think soon I will be able to perform this feat again. I simply have to train my body to ignore the senses that it no longer has and pay attention to the new ones. Now, what is it that you would like to discuss? Has it been difficult learning to fight while blind? Excuse me. It is not the easiest thing I have attempted, but neither is the hardest. Placing his sword off to one side, Gaichu turns to face you. Emptiness is form, is one of the great lessons of the Hagakure. Train sufficiently, and both swordsmanship and obedience will come instinctively. That is the closest to perfection a man can attain. I don't put a whole lot of stock in being obedient. Gaichu feigns surprise. A lawless Shadowrunner have problems with authority? My goodness, I never would have guessed such a thing to be the case. When I was new to the unit, I thought that to be a good samurai was the ultimate goal. That to serve justly with dedication was the greatest honor a warrior could have. We were all young and foolish once, I suppose. So, what changed your mind? Beyond my disease, there was a fight in Fukuoka. My former team ambushed me. I had a singular effect on my it had a singular effect on my worldview. We were taught that we were superior to everyone, that since we were pure humans and Japanese, we would always win. I believe that most never questioned the validity of this claim, even when confronted with direct evidence to the contrary. Tell me when your old unit ambushed you. Very well. Gaichu draws his nails over his scalp, sighing. Hold on, let me get some water. Y'all already know Gaichu's full. Oh, shit. I made a mess. Hopefully I can, okay, kind of clean it up a little bit. Damn it. This is why you don't put your ashtray on your bed, y'all. Don't do that. Oh, you'll make a big mess. Oh, shit. Let me see how bad it is. Oh, shit. Oh, give me a second. Sorry about that. I had to get my vacuum. Very well. Gaichu draws his nails over his scalp, sighing. My time in Fukuoka was tense. Since leaving Keihanshin, I have been careful to stay out of sight by moving on foot or in the back of automated delivery vans. I was running out of food, however, and needed to be in a city for that. Oh, excuse me. I sneezed right now because of the dust. Fukuoka is just big enough to get lost in, but not so large that a ghost sighting should go unnoticed. I hid in abandoned buildings and storm drainage systems, and for 2 weeks I managed to stay hidden. The strain of having to constantly move was wearing on me. However, I made a mistake. What happened? I had to get out of Japan, but all of my contacts in Fukuoka had come up empty-handed when asked for a way to China. I was running low on money, and I could feel the team catching up with me. A contact of mine in Kumamoto owed me a favor and arranged passage for me if I could reach the city in 48 hours. Gaichu closes his eyes, resting his face in one palm. If I had taken my time, I could have made it to Kumamoto without incident, but I let caution slip when I got his email. I thought that if I disguised myself, I could take the train there, get out before my unit got any closer to finding me. I still don't know how they found me. Magical tracking, perhaps, or simply a well-developed spy network. Regardless, they found me. They were waiting for me at Hakata Station. It was an ambush. What did they do? I had taken steps to disguise myself as best as I could, relying on the sheer number of people to conceal my presence. I suspected that the team might not attack while I was in public, but I did not realize just how expendable the civilians were. When they blew the C4 charges over the station's western entrance just to box me in, I realized just how much I had underestimated them. I assumed that the train had derailed honestly, but then I smelled the telltale acrid vapor of explosives. Gaichu wrinkles his nose at the memory. Once you smell it, you never forget. The plastic explosive that we use has a particular sharp odor, like old cheese. Something to do with an olfactory tagnant added to help track if it is stolen. I remember stumbling through the dust and debris, trying to find my way to the rail platforms. They attacked from all sides, using the confusion to strike at once. I could hear Ishida and Takagawa behind me. Aomori and Sasaki charged out of an access corridor just ahead of where I had been standing. Sasaki threw a firewall down behind me, cutting off retreat while Aomori started firing. Sounds like you didn't have much of a choice but to defend yourself. Gaichu nods, lips pursed. Yes, that is so. Training took over. I knew I had to survive, and I was not thinking of anything but survival. So I charged Sasaki and Aomori. They were only 15 meters away from me. The only advantage I had was that they were as blinded by the dust as I was, but I could still hear and smell them. Sasaki threw a lightning bolt at me, but I managed to roll under it. As I came up, Aomori's light machine gun was swiveling down. I felt time stretch out as I stared down the barrel. I caught Aomori in the throat with the tip of my sword. It was a maneuver I'd practiced hundreds of times before. There was no resistance as I cut through his trachea. He fell as I rolled to the side. I could hear him choking for breath as he dropped. Gaishu exhales a humorless laugh and shakes his head. It is strange to think how clear that memory is, even now. He was your friend. That kind of thing will stick with you. Gaichu snorts, waving a hand dismissively. Spare me the 2 New Year in psychiatry. Obviously, what you say is true, but the memory sticks with me so strongly for another reason. It was in that strike that I realized who I truly was. My whole time with the Red Samurai, I had focused on ensuring that I was worthy of the team. Everyone felt that way, but I felt it more acutely than most. I've always wanted to be the best, the fastest, the most precise. In the Red Samurai, I felt that to be less than perfect would be to let the team down. We were always told how lucky we were to have been accepted into the unit. The moment my sword struck Aomori, I knew that I would survive the fight. They attacked me as they would an animal. They seemed to be counting on hurting me to Takagawa and Ishida. Aomori didn't even try to get out of the way of my sword strike. I recall his eyes going wide. He looked surprised that I was using a weapon and not my claws. That's a fatal mistake. Gaichu nods sharply. They thought they were fighting a beast. I would never have underestimated them as they did me. All the lessons I taught them about close combat, thrown out the window as soon as their preconceptions entered their battlefield. Disgraceful. As I killed Aomori, I realized that it was not that I was unworthy of the Red Samurai, but that they were unworthy of me. What did that mean? What did it mean that I, an infected monster, that was less than a beast, could still defeat the finest soldiers in the world? Red Samurai doctrine taught Aomori that the others not to fear me, and his overconfidence would be their death. I realized I had progressed beyond their ability to understand. My sword was as accurate as ever, but they could not account for it due to ideological blindness. That's the danger of letting ideology overrule facts. Precisely. All those years, I was worried I was not good enough to be a member of the Red Samurai, that somehow they had been pulling my weight. But I had been blind to all of the ways in which we were not training or had avoided the harsh truths about our own abilities. We were so often told of our own excellence that I wondered if we had ever truly been tested. Sasaki was the next to fall. As I turned away from Aramori, I realized she must have seen me strike him. Her eyes were wide, and I could feel her fear and her anger as she tried to summon another spell. She seemed caught between healing Aomori and attacking me. Gaichu taps himself on the forehead, just above his right eye. It was there, on Sasaki, a downward stroke from Jordan's stance. She had hesitated just as Aomori had. I felt the breath go out of her, like someone had deflated a tire. She just slid down into a pile. I think she was trying to ask me how when I ran. What about Ishida and Takagawa? My goal was survival, not victory. Takagawa was too far away, and I did not see Ishida. I only smelled him, so I ran. The trains had been shut down due to the explosion, but as long as I could get out of Hakata Station, I knew I could escape. They did not follow me out into the city proper. From what I heard via the Matrix, the event was reported as a terrorist attack that was thwarted by brave Raku soldiers. Oh, I need some water. Gaichu, why I choose to do this voice for you, I will never know. Gaichu snorts, lips curling downward. Brave, foolish soldiers. If you kill 2 of them, why are they still hunting you? Gaichu does not answer immediately. He seems uneasy with the question, fidgeting with his fingers. I am unsure why that would make a difference. Can you explain what you are driving at? The unit's down 3 members. Why not give up on you?
Ah, I see. I think your mistake is seeing this from a practical perspective. The problem is emotional, not mechanical.
Folding his arms over his chest, Gaichu continues to explain.
The nature of Red Samurai assignments is that such losses are generally zero or the entire team. In those rare cases when Red Samurai teams suffer partial loss, the remnants of the impacted teams are shuffled together and undergo retraining. Sasaki and Aomori would undoubtedly be replaced. The problem is that I cannot be replaced. Simply put, I am not dead. Ordinarily, a missing Red Samurai would be considered dead for purposes of reorganizing teams, but Renraku knows precisely what has happened to me. What's more, my failure to do my duty reflects badly on the unit. Others will undoubtedly resist joining my former squad, as it has been tainted.
Now I see why they won't stop hunting you.
Exactly. Until they remove the stain on their honor, they are unable to move forward. I have trapped them in the past, and they feel that the only recourse is to take my life.
Gaichu spreads his hands helplessly.
This is the trap of their duty. They have hunted me in Japan, Shanghai, and Beijing, and now I am certain they will hunt me here in Hong Kong. The cycle will continue endlessly until for the foreseeable future. Such is the way of things.
Wouldn't it be easier if you face them down rather than run?
What do you mean by that? They have been hunting me. I am simply trying to make a new life for myself. I fail to see how this is my doing.
One way or another, this will end with either you or them dead. You've got to take action.
What do you believe I have been doing?
Gaichu's face twists in annoyance.
Certainly, I have not been allowing them to attack me out of goodwill.
If you're as good as you claim, you should have been able to finish this by now.
Oh, of course. Because combat is as binary. You are either capable of defeating all opponents or none of them.
Gaichu sneers, baring his teeth in scorn.
Rank foolishness. I have done my utmost to end their lives.
In Fukuoka, you had a chance to finish them. You chose to run. Gaichu looks about to retort in anger, but holds his tongue. With a deep breath, he purses his lips.
You are not incorrect about this. At the time, however, I thought it was safer to run. I seek to perfect myself, my skills, and my abilities in combat. Perhaps this is not the path I would have walked when I was younger, but I have been a soldier for so long that I cannot imagine devoting myself to any other trade. This does not mean I am tied inextricably to my unit. It simply means I am shaped by my history, as are we all. I appreciate your concern about my history, my unit, but I assure you I am doing all right. I must learn to adapt to my new condition and lifestyle on my own. The time will come when they find me in Hong Kong.
So what will you do about your unit when they come looking for you in Hong Kong?
I am unsure. You have given me a great deal to consider, and I do not mean that lightly. There are several actions and possible outcomes I foresee. I could, as I have before, relocate to another city, flee Hong Kong, travel to somewhere further afield. Lagos, perhaps, or Montreal. I would have to be someplace where Renraku's influence was minimal, and where the unit's presence would be immediately noticeable. This has been my plan of action in the past. I could also keep a low profile staying here. Hope that they are unable to find precisely where I am hiding. Undoubtedly, Ishida would command the team to keep looking. I believe it would only be a matter of time before they found me. But if it were a sufficiently long time, they might be recalled. I could also confront them, draw them out into the open at a time and place of my choosing. There are nothing, if not predictable, in their efforts to show Red Samurai operational doctrine. The plan could succeed, but it could also put you and civilians at risk. I am unsure how I would draw them out in the first place.
You need to find a way to fight them. Gaichu sighs, shoulders slumping a little.
I am unsure if that is the wisest course of action. I am going to need to think about this as a great deal. I'm going to need to think about this a great deal. Please, let me think on this. I will have an answer later.
Sure thing. I'll talk to you later. In the darkness of the cabin, Gaichu is hunched over a pile of keepsakes. He has unpacked most of his box, and the contents are lying strewn about the floor in a disorganized mass. The ghoul gingerly picks through them, turning each one over in his fingers as he feels their shapes. He addresses you without looking up.
Please mind your step, Zero. I fear I have made a mess, and many of my possessions are quite delicate. I would be rather upset if you were to accidentally crush any under your feet.
After a moment, he places the one he holds, a small ceramic statuette of Daruma, to one side. Lifting his face, he touches his brow in salute. I'll try not to step on anything.
For that, I thank you.
Gaichu gingerly begins collecting his things and arranging them back in the box.
I am simply thinking about the chain of events that brought me to Hong Kong. I've been considering our talk about my former unit, about what my plans are, with regard to their incessant hunt and need for closure. I begin to think that I too need closure, an end not only to the hunt, but to our dance around the core issue. One of us must die, that the other might live. As it is, we are locked in stasis.
How do you plan to accomplish that?
That is the question that I have bent my mind to answering since last we spoke. It is not an easy question to answer. My initial thought was to strike at a secure Renraku holding, something valuable enough to draw the...
Damn, hold on.
My initial thought was to strike at a secure Renraku holding, something valuable enough to draw the attention of the Red Samurai and ensure that Renraku reported that a ghoul was involved in the mission. It turns out that was not necessary. I began searching the Shadowlands BBS for any jobs against Renraku holdings here in Hong Kong.
Gaichu taps his braille reader with one toe.
It is surprisingly easy to use the Matrix when you can read postings with your fingers. Slower than direct interface, but certainly possible. I also began to offer a reward for information on Red Samurai teams known to be in the city. A modest reward, nothing that would attract too much attention, but enough to keep people interested.
Gaichu grins thinly, cradling his chin in one hand.
This bore fruit. A Red Samurai team has arrived here a short time ago, smaller than normal size.
Sounds like it could be them.
It is definitely them. My contact described Ishida and Takagawa perfectly, as well as a new heavy gunner, most likely from another disgraced squad. What's more, he described a woman who looked exactly like Sasaki, but with a scar here on her forehead.
Gaichu draws a finger down across his brow over his right eye.
Precisely where I cut her.
Is this going to be a stand-up fight then? Gaichu cocks his head, giving you a look of confused disdain.
Of course not. Why would I be interested in a fight where I did not stack the odds in my favor? I have no intention of allowing them even the slightest chance at victory. I will set an ambush, spring it, and eliminate them, all of them. I have found a job I am certain will draw a Red Samurai response. Renraku is moving a prototype drone through Hong Kong, on the way to a research facility in Chiba. It is of a new design, implementing machine learning and pseudo-intelligence.
Gaichu stands, smiling wryly.
Something that advanced would certainly attract a Red Samurai team, should someone attempt to steal it.
How can you be certain?
Red Samurai are primarily proactive. The majority remain at the forge until dispatched across the world. Those that are not are assigned to guard high-value locations, black laboratories, secure research facilities, and major complexes. Hong Kong has none of these, as Renraku facilities of that type are primarily located in Taiwan. My former unit will be the only one close enough to respond to the threat. The Johnsons for this one is a Renraku scientist escorting the drone. He wishes to leave in Renraku's employ.
Excuse me.
But is unwilling to risk reprisal should he escape on his own. To put it simply, he wishes to make it look like he was killed during a robbery. Hence, why he wishes the experimental drone stolen. If there is no body, there will be no investigation into his whereabouts.
So we could kill two birds with one stone. Gaichu inclines his head in agreement.
Precisely. I can rid myself of my pursuers, but he can be free of their yoke. While I owe this man no loyalty, I think I understand his sentiment. Besides, we will be receiving payment for our job.
Sounds good to me. When do we leave?
As soon as you are ready, I will message Mr. Johnson and let him know that we are prepared to fake his murder and to be ready for our arrival. I suggest you prepare as well. The Red Samurai are excellent combatants, not to be taken lightly.
So we got some quests here. Let's see what we got. Shangri-La kidnap Rooster Low, help Gaichu set an ambush for his former team, catch a boat to the sinking ship and find Gobbet, take the MTR to meet Dreamland. So we have a couple jobs here, but unfortunately, I'm going to end the stream off right now. And I'm going to relax because doing Gaichu's voice really fucks up my vocal cords. So, oh, no, not restart the level, man. We're going to save the game. Okay? And we're going to end this off in the next, or we'll pick this back up in the next stream. Thanks for anybody who came by. I hope y'all enjoy, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Deuces, y'all.